Welcome back. Now we're gonna do our start tits for week 2. First, we're gonna go over where we went right or wrong last week. Last week I started Andrew Luck, did very well. Tyrod Taylor, not so good. D'Angelo Williams did pretty well. Sits had Melvin Gordon. That didn't go good. Should have started him. Very well against Chiefs defense. Calvin Benjamin was a sit. Totally should have started him. Had great game. Tajay Sharp, probably going to start him as a flex. Could have gone either way.
Okay, the people that I said to start, Spencer Ware, I assumed he was going to have 150 total yards and a touchdown. He outdid that and had 200 yards, total yards and a TD. Rashad Jennings, I think, was my only He had 75 yards rushing, but only on 18 carries, and Eli Manning was throwing the ball in the end zone. Amir Abdullah had 130 total yards and a touchdown. Thanks for taking my pen away. For my sits, Jeremy Hill had 31 yards and a touchdown, but I was right. He didn't have, technically if he didn't have that touchdown, he would have been sour grapes. And then the same thing with Jeremy Langford, who I was totally against. He had 17 rushes for 57 yards, and he did get in the end zone.
Yeah.
So I guess he was able to kind of make his way to at least look like a good flex option. And then Jonathan Stewart.
And you're wrong about him. He was the ball carrier.
Jeremy Langford.
At least week 1.
I said week 4.
Oh, okay. All right. You
can go back and look at the tape. And then Jonathan Stewart totally got shut down against Denver defense. He had 64 yards rushing. That was it.
Yep. Daniel?
Yeah, my list it's vanished. It's gone.
How mysterious.
Save it. So, but I was right about Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
He did.
Matthew Stafford had a great game. He did.
Did you have any other quarterbacks that would have a great game, like RG3 maybe?
I will have to go back
somehow
on that
remember
footage.
him saying something about RG3. But we'll have to go back and fact check.
We'll fact check.
And you viewers, if you want to go back and look at last week's, we remember him saying something about RG3.
I
but
will,
we're not
I
sure.
will save this list this week.
Yeah,
I'm sure you will.
You do that in your pocket, or we can hold on to it for you.
It's what he rips up after his 3 fantasy football teams.
Stop using that as TP. Anyway, we'll start over here with our starts this week. I'm going to go with Melvin Gordon, who had 2 touchdowns against the Chiefs last week. And if he can do 2 touchdowns against a great supposedly a great Chiefs defense, who had a good comeback last week, I'm going to start him this week for sure. Kelvin Benjamin, I'm not going to put on the bench again this week, especially against San Fran, who has a deplorable defense. Even though the Rams, they can't get much going anyway. But against Carolina, I like Benjamin. And Javaris Landry against New England. Last week he saw a lot of Richard Sherman. So this week I like Javaris Landry big time.
Okay, my startums are Derek Carr. You should have started him last week. But he's going against Atlanta this week. And they're like a sieve in their backfield. So Danny Woodhead, kind of the same reason. You have...
had a good week at the Chiefs.
He had a good and I think his receiving production is going to increase with Keenan Allen out.
Yeah.
Probably Antonio Gates is going to go up too. Phillips is going to throw to whoever's he's consistent with. So and Jonathan Stewart with the Panthers, same reason. You have Benjamin. San Francisco defenses. I don't think that was the true San Francisco defense we saw on Monday night. I think that was just because the Rams are so horrible. It made the San Francisco defense look good.
In my starting, it's going to be, if you have Phillip Rivers, I think he's going to have a good game against the Jaguars. Aaron Rodgers had a pretty good day last week with them, so I think Rivers, even though they lost their top wideout, they're going to still be all right. And Travis Benjamin will probably be the number one going forward. Julian Edelman, I have him. I think he's going to be lighting it up against the Dolphins. They typically do very well against the Dolphins, the Patriots, and he was targeted 46 times in his last 4 games against the Dolphins. So, and Ryan Matthews versus the Bears' questionable run defense, I think might have a good afternoon. So, yeah.
You want to talk about your
sit-ums? My sit-ums is Amir Abdullah. Even though he had a good game last week, I think, can he have a good game 2 weeks in a row? I don't know. He's playing against that Titans D that shuts down.
I don't know.
Everyone, I don't know.
Half of his stats are from receptions in the backfield. So
Titans don't really. I don't know. He's going to have a harder time with that team, I think.
I'll make a bet on that.
We will.
Okay.
Well, we can after. Yeah. Stephon Diggs versus Green Bay. He had a good week, but I don't think the Green Bay secondary is going to be pretty tough.
Who's going to be throwing to him? Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
So,
not
I
going
mean,
to have one
Yeah.
reception.
No.
Yeah, it's a sit. I'm gonna have to bench him.
I don't know. Kristen Michael. I mean, it's Thomas Rawls. We were talking about this. I thought Rawls was going to be coming back this week, but
But
Rawls,
Yahoo
people were
says
saying-
he's a 3-star start, so we don't know
So
yet.
I don't know. I know that I have
Keep an eye on him.
I think
Michael,
Rawls.
so-
I think Rawls is going to be getting the more production this
one.
week.
If he's back,
Yeah.
then he's gonna.
But they were both playing last week.
If you could avoid that situation, avoid it. Unfortunately, Daniel can't.
I
He's
can't.
stuck in that marriage.
I can't, and I have both of them in another league too.
Do you?
So yeah.
Yeah. So Daniel's stuck.
My sit-ems, Jameis Winston. I know he had a really great week last week, but against Arizona, Arizona's not gonna. He's not gonna be throwing like Cam Newton this week. So Frank Gore going against the Broncos. He's old. That guy's just waiting for a concussion, a broken tailbone.
It's a
He's
number
waiting
one
for everything,
defense.
and the Broncos are probably gonna give it to him. And there's probably a lot of people that have Todd Gurley from the first round, and I would never say drop him, but you need to sit this guy for this week against Seattle.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna sit.
Well, if you have somebody, if you have somebody available on your team that's on your bench that can go in
Yeah.
front of him, I'm just saying I don't think Todd Gurley's going to have more than 10 points this week.
Yeah. 10 points is actually decent production.
It depends what kind of league you're in.
Yeah. I don't know. Nobody's gonna sit him though.
Okay, but
That it?
yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
I went through 3.
Sits for me. Jimmy Graham. It's a tight end. We bag on him all the time. He had 1 target last week with Seattle. I'd rather start Graham Greer than Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham has been bad since he became a Seahawk. Jeremy Hill this week, the Steelers have held him to an average of 6.7 fantasy points in 4 meetings, and he's never scored a touchdown against them in his career. And Ryan Fitzpatrick versus the Bills on Thursday. I just think Rex Ryan has Ryan Fitzpatrick's number. I just think he's not going to do well against the Bills defense. And the Bills defense, even though they lost last week, their defense held up pretty well and only let the Ravens score 13 points. So I think they're going to do well on Thursday night. So we're going to give you a couple waiver wire ads to add to your roster if you still can. It's only Wednesday night. Will Fuller is a good ad. He had 5 receptions, 170 yards, and a touchdown last week. Someone you can look for. He's probably pretty popular. Eli Rogers might be somebody under the radar for Pittsburgh Steelers. He had 6 receptions, 59 yards, and 1 touchdown.
I'm going after like some third down backs here. I like Kenyon Barner for the running back for the Eagles. He had 42 rushing yards, and he can receive out of the backfield. He has a nice faux hawk too, I believe.
Oh.
And Chris Thompson, the Redskins,
Yep.
he's always he had like 45 to 50 receptions last year out of the backfield, and he's somebody you could go to if your running backs are on an off week and you don't have anybody good enough. That guy's going to be an option out there because I'm sure he's going to be. He was a free agent last year,
Yep.
practically the whole
I
season.
think he fumbled last Monday, too.
Did he?
Well.
He had a touchdown also.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
So
Well, Tevin Coleman.
RG3. Oh, go ahead.
Tevin Coleman. I guess if you avoided Devontae Freeman early in your draft, like I didn't,
Oh, the
you,
woes.
then I don't know. There could be a change in the guard.
Yeah.
Tevin Coleman's I think he got more carries than Devontae Freeman. And
the odd thing is, last year at the beginning of the season, Tevin Coleman had more carries than Devontae Freeman week 1 and week 2, and then Devontae Freeman pretty much started from there. So
Got to be
and
patient.
for me,
It's a game of patience.
For me, I hope that's the case. Tajay Sharp. I think if you drafted him, you're probably looking kind of like a genius.
Draft him,
right
you're a
now.
genius.
You said a lot about
Then
him.
you listen
know.
to us.
Yeah, so because he's going to be a guy that if he's even.
If you didn't, you deserve to
Yeah.
lose.
So those are my 2 guys.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
adios.
Alrighty.